Mr. Speaker, and still I rise. And still I rise, a liberated, unbought, unbossed, unafraid Democrat. I fear for the lives of the American people. If they can convince this country or some significant portion of the people in this country that Miss Renee Good was a terrorist, I fear for the lives of the people in this country. In fact, I fear for my own life. If you can justify what happened to Miss Good after seeing with your very own eyes what took place, and if we can allow the King's men to conclude that only they can investigate this, remove the local constabulary from the process, if this can happen, I fear for our lives. We are now living in a country where people are expected to believe that this mother of three, a Christian woman, seated in her vehicle, yes, the vehicle was across the roadway, but that somehow she was a terrorist. Because what we saw when this lady, this woman, was accosted, and I say accosted because men who had unmasked in police regalia, I suppose, approached her rather aggressively, it seems to me, and one of them in approaching said, "Get the F out of the car." When men can approach a female in a car and say this to her and expect her to immediately respond in a positive manner, and if she does not and attempts to drive away, if they can take her life, I fear for our lives. Do not assume that it can only happen to her. But when she made her move to extricate herself, to move along, to move her car, officers started to shoot. She was shot. One officer shot through the side window as she was moving away. Officers ought not be allowed to do what was done to this lady. There should be an investigation that includes the local constabulary. But no, this administration is shutting out the local investigation, and they are including only the federal investigation, which means by some thought processes that they have no desire to let this go to a trial. I believe this president will do for the person or persons convicted. I believe he will do for them what he did for the people who assaulted the citadel of democracy on January 6th. I think we have a reckless, ruthless outlaw who has found his way into the presidency. When asked if there were any limits on his international power, here's his response: "My own morality, my own mind, it's the only thing that can stop me." Mr. President, what about Congress? What about the Constitution? What about the power to declare war? And where is that power vested? This president spells the word respect, F-E-A-R. That's respect. He wants people to fear him. I don't fear you, Mr. President. I know that this is a difficult topic for some people to embrace, but this is where we are. Congress has become irrelevant in the minds of this president, in the mind of this president. Well, Mr. President, you're wrong. Congress is relevant. The House of Representatives should take action. We have the power to do what has to be done. We have the power. Before I go further with that power, now I want to come back to, if I may, Ms. Good. If the president believes this about international law, if the president believes that the only thing is his mind, I believe he believes the same thing about domestic law. I think he believes that the only thing that he has to concern himself with is whether he agrees, whether he thinks it's right. I believe he thinks that what those officers did can be justified simply because they are officers of the law. I support officers of the law. I don't support outlaws who are pretending to be officers of the law when they are committing crimes. They didn't do as much. Just immediately concluded that this lady was a terrorist. I'm not a terrorist, but if you can conclude that she is, I'm not sure that anybody is safe from being captioned, labeled, designated a terrorist. I'm standing up for those good law enforcement officers who would have approached that lady with a kinder gesture, not as bullies, who would have approached her and simply said, "Ma'am, would you please step out of the car?" What is wrong with being kind? You got the gun. What is wrong with being respectful? No, the president, as a bully, has passed on his tendencies to those who are under him. It starts at the top. The tone and tenor starts at the top. It starts with a bullying president. So the president, in his thinking, believes he is above and beyond the law, whether it is international law or whether it is domestic law. That's his thinking. Do we have the willpower to do what should be done? And I'm talking about bipartisan effort. It should be bipartisan. But if it can't be bipartisan, that doesn't mean we shouldn't try to stop this reckless, ruthless president. We can also do the same thing with the one thing that can stop a reckless, ruthless, outlaw president. The one thing. That one thing, my friends, is what the president fears most. And he fears even having votes on it take place. Now, there are people who would say that, well, if you can't pass it, why vote on it? Because the American people need to know that there are some people who see the wrong and who are willing to take a stand against the wrong. They see the injustice and they're willing to take a stand against the injustice, even when that stand may not result in what is the desired end. So do not now say that the Democrats are doing something. Just say Al Green. Tell the truth. Because on some issues, I believe that it is better to stand alone than not stand at all. So I'm not asking anybody to vote for it when I bring it to the attention of Congress. I'm not asking you to. Don't vote for it if your convictions don't command that you do so. Do what you think is right. Senate has done what they believe to be correct. And I assure you, without question I assure you of this, I will bring articles of impeachment against the President of the United States of America for taking our military to war against Venezuela. I say to you, the Constitution still rules. The Constitution is above indictments. Constitution is above the things that are in the mind of a president that he believes would give him the authority to do these things. It's the Constitution that counts. And if you're going to have a Constitution, you have to make it count. It doesn't count because the words are on paper. It's how we react and behave in response to the words that are on paper. It's the Constitution that counts. And the only way we can stop this is with impeachment. That is the only thing. Why is impeachment? Because, friends, it would say to the next Donald John Trump, we will not tolerate unconstitutional means. He needs to be impeached, he needs to be convicted, and he needs to be removed from office. Well, friends, this is where I stand. I don't do these things to make friends. I do them because I care about my country. I do it because I believe when I salute the flag in liberty and justice for all. I do it because I believe in government of the people, by the people, for the people, and that includes the people who have the authority to enforce the Constitution. And we are the people. We are the we and we the people. I believe we have to do whatever we can when we can.